Just doing a review here on the MK101 Pro 24 saw. Just got it there about a week ago. It's been working good. It's just more of a fixed saw where you can just push the tile into the blade, a couple attachments, but if you have to do any other cuts on angles and that, there comes with a 45 degree adapter that goes on here, so you can cut your tile on a 45 there, but that's pretty much about it. So basically I just found that the 45 degree one, when I clamp it, it's not really square to the blade here. It seems to be okay, but I haven't tried it yet, but I think it could have been when you tighten it on here, it kind of twists a little bit this way, so I don't know how well it's going to work. The other thing about the saw that I found was it's a little bit heavy on that end down there, so if you're walking along, you got to watch you don't hit a stone under the wheels, because it feels like the saw is you're gonna lose the saw, and just because it's top heavy at this end here. Some of the upgrades I think that can be done to this saw is somehow there could be a handle a little bit lower here, so when you lift it up, if it decides you hit something, you know, you got all the power in your arms to keep it from flipping and losing control of the saw. If you're carrying the saw like this and you're moving along and you hit a stone, you kind of lose all your muscles here, because just because your arms are bent in this direction. So that's one thing anyway. I thought the saw, and we got to watch this thing right here. It kind of slides up and down. So the one thing I found was sometimes when you're lifting it, it slides up, and then all of a sudden it feels like you kind of lift it, and then all of a sudden the saw wants to flip over. So I think there should be a better locking mechanism here to kind of hold the saw and the table from sliding up, just so you have that feeling where your heart pressure goes up, where you feel like you're going to lose control of the saw there. Another thing is down by your feet. When you're walking, your feet are hitting the saw. So, you know, maybe if they had somewhere back further where the arms would come up, or through this tube, they could have like a handle that would telescopic out, so that you can grab onto it down here and you can walk and feel a little better about the saw. So I'll probably end up doing those. I'll end up modifying that and fixing that problem there. And down here I might end up just putting no slot in here, just unscrew it, and it'll be just a fixed locking piece there. The other thing I found, I always like to make sure the nuts are on all the way. You know, I don't want them spinning off or anything like that. So you can see right here that the threads should be they should be sticking out at least 1 or 2 threads. Usually by code they always say 1 or 2 threads. You know, then that's usually by code that you got to have the exposed threads. So, or if you decide to put a locking nut on there, like a nylon lock washer in the future, then you know you got some bite on the threads there. So I'd say only 90% of the threads are being used on this here. So you just feel a little more safer having, you know, I just kind of noticed that. Over here, they got these holes here, and there's two positions for this head on here. And the thing is when you're lifting this, if you end up sliding this head off to move it to the next position, you got to watch that you don't accidentally drop when the pin drops out of this back hole here. It doesn't, when you're sliding it, I'll kind of show you. I'll unscrew this here. Right here. And if I'm pulling this off, you got to be kind of tricky. But if it drops, then you could bust this aluminum right here because of the weight of the saw. So I bet you a lot of people have already broken that already, but Anyway, this, I think this could have been built up a little bit, maybe more solid in here, so that the saw can actually, you know, so it just won't bust that off. It just looks a little bit thin. I know it'll bust off, or somebody's busted one off already, so I'm sure it's a selling feature. And then I found on the table here, sometimes because it is a heavy saw and you get 2 people and you're going to go down some stairs or something like that, this thing sometimes slides and just, you know, hits that end, or it slides this way. So I think there should be a locking mechanism for, so when you're transporting the saw with 2 people, to move it from one location to another. Because the worst thing is when you lift up on this end here, this thing just wants to slide and smash down here. So anyway, I found that there should be some kind of a locking mechanism, maybe somewhere around here or something like that. Maybe it goes onto the handle with a pin or something like that. I'm not sure yet. So, and then right here, sometimes they say you got to put some WD-40 on this bar here, but it's, when you put WD-40 upside down, it's hard to spray in there because it doesn't work, because the pressure works on a aerosol can when it's up. So it's kind of hard to get the WD-40 in there. But over here, when you flip this thing down, it hits the pan here. So someone could go like this and maybe break the pan. So there should be better clearance in this somewhere in this area, so that this thing can actually go upside down. So what you actually have to do is pull the pan out, and then this table would be upside down, and then spray the WD-40 in there. So I just think it should be, there's a few design flaws that can be fixed on this saw, but other than that, I'll give it, this saw here, probably, you know, for what it does and what it's done for me right now, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. But if they fixed up a few little things on this, make it a much better saw. So, okay, thanks.